Welcome back to BookTalks podcast. This is Kayla
and Marisa.
And in this episode, we're doing our February reading wrap-up and talking about our March TBR as well. So who wants to go first?
Well, this is going to be a pretty short video, I think. For those who don't know, me and Kayla are both tax accountants, and so February is kind of like our worst month. So I've read I've read technically 2 books. I DNF'd 1 book, and I'm almost done with a 4th book. So I'm hoping I will have done 4 books by the end of February, but we may only be sitting at 2.5, depending on how we count the DNF.
Which I saw your DNF and I was shocked because it was on my 21 or 26 books I want to read in 2026.
Okay, guys, this is going to get controversial because it's super popular. She is a super popular author. And look, I loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, but Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is the most boring book. Like, it starts off so strong. Maria is this character that, like, you want to root for, you know? She's got it. She's in the 1500s. She knows what a woman has to do to get ahead. She knows she's got to choose a rich man, and she's going to, like, you know, work her way up from the bottom. She's going to use her beauty and her wits to do it. And you're like, boom, Maria, I want to root for you. 100 pages in, she becomes a vampire and turns into a vampire book. And I was like, okay, didn't see it coming. I'm going to stick with it. But we interchange between Maria and a character named Alice, who's in like modern times, who is boring as crap. And then once Maria becomes a vampire, I mean, I don't know if you saw my review, but I was like, listen, girl, you're a blood-sucking queen, but like, you have no morals and I can't really root for you. You're kind of, like, she just does the same things over and over again. She just kills people, doesn't care. Kills people, doesn't care. And I got to page 226 and I was like, nothing's happening. And I'm sure it's going to pick up here soon, but I couldn't read another page of Maria the vampire and Alice the boring ass modern day girl.
No, I feel like I need to take it off my list. Well, I'm not taking it off, but it does not make me want to read it, which is fine. There will be some losses in my 26 of 26. But I was shocked by that because, I mean, I didn't love Addie LaRue. I mean, we did it for the podcast, and it made me feel claustrophobic, the thought that no one remembered you. I don't know why it makes me feel claustrophobic, but it does. So my old apartment had book quotes, and I had one of V.E. Schwab's book quotes, which from a book I'd never read before.
Okay.
But it was like, I'd rather die on an adventure than live standing still.
I like that.
Love that. I'm like, so profound. Never read the book though, but I just thought it was funny. I had to like put it on my wall. But I've been wanting to read her book. It was like the series, her like Shade of Magic.
Yes, I've seen it. The cover's beautiful. I want to read it.
So I am still intrigued by that, but now I'm hesitant because I never liked Addie LaRue, but we'll have to try it out.
Yeah, and the thing is, I posted on a Facebook group, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I posted like, hey guys, I'm 226 pages in. Is this gonna pick up or is it more of the same? Because I'm really just bored right now. And the comments were very much like, if you're not into it by now, you're not going to be into it. It doesn't change. They said it's kind of just a developing of the same thing, and people said, I liked it from page 1 and, you know, it was my favorite read last year. And other people were like, I hated it from page 1. I also DNF'd it. So I think you kind of fall into 2 camps. I'm not sure there's really like a 3-star route with it where you could get through and be like, it was fine. Not my favorite, but fine. I feel like you're either super into it from the beginning or super not. So unfortunately, it was not for me. But I'm not turned off from V.E. Schwab because I really liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and her books are very popular, so I definitely want to give her other ones a chance. This one was not my personal cup of tea.
Okay, so you did that. Well, we're going to count it as like a half book. What are the other 2 that you read this month?
Okay. I have a goal to get through all my Fairy Loot books. So I chose A Dagger in the Flame. Yeah, look at that sprayed edge. Very nice, very nice. Right?
That's very nice.
This is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. And it is a YA. Actually, let me reference my notes because I wrote down some notes. It is a YA fantasy, first in a series. I gave it 3 stars. However, I gave it 3 stars with the caveat that I want to read the second book, and it may go up to 4 stars depending on how the second book goes. Because unfortunately, I have read too many first books in a fantasy series that I really liked. And then I went to the second book and it lost me, and I didn't even bother finishing the series. So I've now started giving the first book like 3 stars. And if the second book captivates me, I'm like, okay, look, it's like a 4 star. We're going to keep going. So that's my new kind of caveat there. This is enemies to lovers, and it actually was enemies to lovers. I feel like we mentioned in the last video, the Valentine's Day video, a lot of enemies to lovers aren't really, like they're kind of googly eye for each other from day one. This was like they both made very good attempts to kill each other. And that's what I want in enemies to lovers. So, um, honestly, it had like kind of a Throne of Glass type feel, like a Sam and Selena Sardothien. My gosh. I feel like when I was in the Throne of Glass world, I would not have butchered that, but I think I just absolutely butchered that. Anyway, it's Seraphina and Ransom. They're in 2 opposing assassin guilds. She's with the cloaks, he's with the daggers, and then they kind of have to team up to fight a bigger enemy that's in the city, these monsters that are killing people. So it really is like enemies to lovers because she's his mark and he's supposed to be killing her, and she doesn't want to die, so she actively tries to kill him back, and it's very good. It's very fun. And the second book in the series just came in on Libby, so looking ahead to March, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this series.
So it's YA. Does it feel YA?
It does. So there is one somewhat like graphic sexual scene, and that always throws me off because I'm like, I thought YA, you're not supposed to have that in there. It doesn't bother me, like, because I am a 30-year-old adult, so like I can read it. But like if it were in a book that was marketed for 16-year-olds, it might be like, oh, should they be reading that? Anyway, that aside, Seraphine kind of reads as she doesn't stand out to me. Ransom really stands out. He's probably like the one that makes this book more intriguing. So I am hoping for the second book they mature Seraphina up a little bit, because right now she reads as like a rambunctious 16-year-old who throws caution to the wind, and I feel like she gets away with stuff just on a hope and a prayer, and there's not a lot of like pre-planning. So in that sense, yes, young adult, but Ransom is very intriguing, very dark and mysterious, and I'm hoping that, like there's that potential there for them to elevate the characters in book 2.
Do you think about that? Because, I mean, we have all these books, and like when I have kids one day, I hope they like to read. And I hope they're like, my mom has the coolest library selection ever. But I'm going to have to make like shelves where like, you're allowed to read this shelf, but not this one. And yeah, I do feel like sometimes YA goes in that category where like, where do I put this?
Yeah.
I saw a video on Instagram where someone wanted to read, I forget what book, but it was like a fantasy book. Maybe it was no, maybe it was like, why am I forgetting the name of it? Fourth Wing. And her mom literally taped up the pages with this like sex scenes in it and basically just said they kiss a lot.
That's good.
And I said, that's so creative.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So Fourth Wing, at least, I don't think is marketed as YA, but I have seen people have mistakenly shelved ACOTAR as YA in like Barnes and Noble and stuff. And honestly, like I don't remember the first one being too graphic, but obviously I know the second one has at least one graphic scene, and A Court of Silver Flames has many graphic scenes. So the fact that that series was shelved as YA was obviously an error, but it happens. And then if it's really popular and kids want to read it, and some of them probably shouldn't be read by young adults.
Yeah, I don't know, but the first book I forget as well. But yeah, I'm glad I wasn't in my anti-smut era when I read A Court of Silver Flames, because I enjoyed that. I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much as if I read it now. I don't know why. It was like still good. Like the plot was still there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how Sarah J. Maas does it. Maybe I'm just blinded and I'm just like so biasly like in love with her that I'm like, she can write anything and I love her, but it's one of my favorite books of hers, but yeah, it was very smutty. So I do think about that from time to time. I'm like, which books am I allowing my children to read and at what ages?
Yeah, because a lot of the YA ones do end up slipping some sex scenes in there, and I'm like, well, some of them, I don't know, like, when I was 16, I probably read that stuff. Like, should I have read it? I don't know, like, I don't now that I'm 30, I'm like, was that a good choice?
Was in high school, people were reading 50 Shades of Grey, and it was, like, really popular, and I think my mom wouldn't let me pick it up, which I'm, like, thankful for because I feel like it would've traumatized me. Although, I don't know if you read the series after. It's a fan fiction of, like, Harry Styles and, like, low-key 50 Shades of Grey. It's like a 50 Shades of Grey and Harry Styles fanfic that ended up being, like, a multiple book series.
Okay.
And my friend's mom recommended this to me, and this was, like, just, like, smut. Like, they would have sex, and then they would fight and get back together, and fight and get back together. And, they made it a movie, actually, I forgot they made it a movie, because I remember in college, it came out with the movie, and I went by myself, because I couldn't ask anyone to join me, because it was so embarrassing that I was a fan.
They so should have gotten Harry Styles to star in that.
I forgot about that. I, like, blocked it out. I think I gave up after the third book because it was the same plot all over again. They fought and made up and fought and made up, and I'm like, I can't do this. But I don't know what my friend's mom recommended to me, but it was definitely way too smutty for my age, but I still ate it up.
You know, it shocks me how many adults, like people that I see as adults, read smut. So I was at a partner lunch the other day and I brought up that I like to read because some of the other girls were saying they like to read. And they were like, what do you like to read? And I was like, oh, that's a hard one. And like, also, there's a male partner right there. And the girls were like, no, no, he's cool. He reads Akatar. You're good. And I was like, oh, you've read Cornerstone of Flames and we're having lunch right now. This is weird. But like, it always shocks me. I'll just be around people and they'll randomly say like, oh, I love Fourth Wing or, whatever. And I'm like, oh, we've read the same sex scenes. Okay.
That's why with my mom, I'm like, I never recommend her books because I just don't want her, I don't want to know that she's reading them.
Yes. When I found out my mom read Fourth Wing, I was like, we can't ever speak about this ever, actually.
So I was talking to people at work and I used the term smut because they were like talking about Wuthering Heights and I'm like, oh, I heard it's really smutty. And they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know how to describe this.
That's funny. I didn't know that was like a book term. I mean, I guess, yeah, it probably is. I didn't hear it till I joined Bookstagram, but it's so ingrained in me now. I don't even think of it as being something I have to define.
Yeah, it's definitely like a niche term. I do think it's probably more known. I just don't think this person knew, but it's hard. I'm like, how do I describe this and be work appropriate right now? Okay, so you read fantasy, which is good. And now you can turn that over on your bookshelf and show the nice little.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, because for people who don't know, I've made a rule. I can't show off the sprayed edge until I read the book. So now I can show that one off. But you brought up Wuthering Heights, and that is the other book that I read this month.
You finished it.
I did. I haven't marked it yet on Goodreads because honestly, like, I'm so scared I'm gonna get canceled. Like, I don't want to get canceled. So I kind of just feel like I need to say I read a classic, and it was a classic by Emily Bronte. And no, okay, look, I do have. It started off really good, and I probably give it 3 stars. It was a good book, but for anyone classifying this as a romance, have you lost your ever loving mind? This is not a romance. I was like trying to think what it is, and the best I could come up with is it's a gothic family drama. It's not a romance. Literally, Heathcliff and Kathy are only like, I think they share like one kiss. They yearn for each other, kind of, but also I think he just wants her because he can't have her, and she just wants him because he's kind of like the bad boy. But like, she only cares about herself, and he only cares about revenge on the guy she married. So it's not a romance. And then, do you know what happens? Can I spoil what happens, or should I not?
No, well, we should spoiler warning here.
Okay.
But I don't really care to watch the movie / read it. Maybe
Okay.
I'm just, I don't know,
Here's the
uncultured,
thing.
but
The movie is not the book. I haven't seen the movie, but I know for a fact the movie is not going to be anything like the book because halfway through the book, Kathy dies. And I was like, for the last 200 pages, if the love interest is dead.
So what happened?
It then becomes about her daughter, and Heathcliff again is like trying to get revenge because basically he hates this guy named Edgar Linton. Edgar Linton married Kathy. Kathy dies giving birth to, you guessed it, little Kathy, because Kathy's obsessed with herself, so they call her little Kathy. Little Kathy is like a good person, but Heathcliff is determined to steal Edgar Linton's fortune, so he sets little Kathy up with his son and then takes her property, and then his son dies, and then and then Heathcliff dies and she marries his other son. It's completely bonkers. It's like it's a family drama, but it's not a romance. And I just don't understand people who call it a romance.
How is it a classic?
I don't know. These are not morally gray characters. They are all bad. There are only 2 good characters in the entire book. Everyone else, if you aspire to be like any person in this book, you need therapy. And I think it's meant to be that. Like, I think Emily Bronte purposely wrote it that way because the ending is supposed to be like hope of a better generation. Like, there's all this conflict and turmoil and chaos and badness cemented in these 2 families, in the House of Wuthering Heights and in the Grange, whatever it's called. It's called the Grange or something. And then by the end, they unite their houses. Little Kathy, falls in love with the other son. We don't actually see it happen. We're just told it happened. So, like, again, not a romance because we don't even see it happen. But then, like, it ends with them. They're going to get married and the life trauma is healed or something. So, again, if you're like a Heathcliff and Kathy fan, I don't get it because they're not good people. They're literally meant to be the villains of this book.
And they didn't really get together.
No, they share one kiss before she dies. And then she dies. And also, I didn't even realize she was pregnant before she died. They're like, by the way, here's little Kathy. What? How did I miss that? But yeah, I mean, look, it was good. I gave it 3 stars because it was interesting. I just don't understand calling it a romance, but I do want to see the movie because I think the movie really is a romance. I just don't think the movie follows the book in any way, shape, or form from what I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't really. Well, I feel like I've been in a black hole and have not connected with the outside world. So I don't actually know what people are saying about it anymore. But yeah, I don't know why I don't have a desire to read it or watch it. It's just not been on my radar.
Yeah, I do want to watch it. A lot of people have told me I should watch it, that it's pretty good, that the sex scenes aren't even that bad. It's mostly just kissing. And I was like, okay, well, I am 30. I think I can handle some kissing. But I feel like everything I just said is going to have to get cut though, because literally they are going to cancel me. People online hate when I have an opinion on classics. And I'm just like, I feel bad. Like, it's a fine book. I don't understand why we're having people read it in schools though, and why we're calling it a romance, because it's really just this like tangled family drama.
Curious to see people's takes on a retelling. I'm curious of the spins he'll put on it.
Yeah.
Because we're starting kind of at a not romance point. If they rewrite it, do they make it more romantic? Curious about that aspect. I am in desperate need of like a nice romance. I feel like I've been reading such hard stuff lately. Work is so tough that I'm like, I just need some light. So I guess I'll get into what I've read. So I talked about this last time. I started this book, Heir Apparent.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Crown?
Yeah. Well, only the first 2 seasons, because then they changed the cast and I liked the first cast, and so I didn't continue it.
I committed. I watched the whole thing up until like the whole Diana thing and everything. She's just so captivating.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of heavily inspired, and it felt like you were reading it as if Prince Henry was a girl and a twin that was born a minute later than his brother.
Okay.
So you basically like born the spare like immediately.
Okay.
And his mom's like, they got divorced and the mom's always flirting around. So it was very much inspired by Princess Diana and her kids. So the main character, Lexi, she basically like disowns the royal family, moves to Australia and is in med school, like wants to be a doctor, wants nothing to do with the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And then her dad and brother both die tragically. This is like the first chapter. So basically she's like next in line for the crown after her grandmother. So she goes back and she had like a boyfriend back home. He like owns a vineyard and like she lives in the vineyard and she has a very nice quaint life in Australia. Actually no, it's like it's Tasmania. So she's like forced to go back to London and she's like paraded around, like kind of like hates it. And she has 1 year to decide if she's going to take the crown or not.
Mm-hmm.
I was very torn of what I wanted her to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot more twists in there. It was very intriguing, but obviously it was not like fluffy and light. The ending, like, it makes you happy, but like also you're kind of rooting for her to do the other option.
Okay.
So it was very good. So I read that. And then I finished Tower of Dawn. I finished Empire of Storm, which the Empire of Storm ending, every freaking time, it's like my heart is just like ripped out.
Mm-hmm.
When Rowan's like, "Where is my wife?" I like, it breaks me all over again. Also, like, this time around, Aelin finding out that like she has to die and like sacrifice herself, like, breaks me. So that was really hard to read. And then going into Kingdom of Ash, after they get her, I'm like just low key depressed reading it because I'm like, oh, she thinks she has to sacrifice herself. And then like, you just know like everyone's gonna die. And I'm like, so like, I was already down bad at work. I
Yeah.
was like, I need to finish this now because I'm just gonna get more and more depressed. So I did skip a couple battle scenes just because like I couldn't read them. I was not in like the headspace. Also, that book is thick.
Mm-hmm. 1,000 pages, right?
Yeah, it was I was like, but I was breezing through it on the train ride home. I was getting like 200 pages a day because I commute an hour there, an hour back. So I was like going really fast. But yeah, so kind of I left off that. And then I started The Favorites, which is about like this like ice dance
Uh-huh.
couple. But it's not a happy romance. It's more of a tragic romance. And then
Wait,
I don't even know if it's a
did you
romance.
finish it? Or you
No,
just
I'm
started it?
like halfway through.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me if it's good. I'm pretty sure that's one of the Lolly Book of the Month finalists, right?
Oh.
Because I got notified today that the March books dropped, and normally I just skip at this point because I'm trying not to buy books, but you can get your free Lolly book if you do your book of the month this month, so I'm probably gonna do it. I was looking at the Lolly books, and I'm pretty sure The Favorites is one of the Lollies.
What is a lollybook?
What does Lolly even stand for? I don't know.
Is it is it a new subscription or book of the month?
No, it's book of the month. It's their like top 5 books of the year. But I don't know why it's called the Lolly because I don't know what that stands for.
I don't dislike it. Again, I think it's my mindset where I'm like, I just need something bright right now. Like it's a beautiful, so far I'm halfway through and it's very beautiful. But I'm also like, this is like hard to read because it just like rips your heart out again. You just feel so many emotions because they're like trying to get to the Olympics, like you don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like it's very fitting to read currently with the like Olympics just
True.
ending. It's all about like ice dance and everything, which I didn't really know what ice dance was until the Olympics. So I'm in the middle of that. And then I'm in the middle of our February book, which we both failed this month because we both didn't finish it. And I thought I would be able to finish it because I really do like it.
Enjoying it. It's picking up for me.
Yeah. The beginning I was like, what? I would so much world building. Like, I would say the first like 50 pages, I'm like, what are these terms? I don't know. I'm like, I had to like reread so much stuff to catch up. And we'll talk about this more in our episode for Red Rising when we do finish it. But I do like where we are at now. I think we're both at the same part, like around 200.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
I'm excited.
getting pretty good, and I like your idea of looking up fan fiction or fan art. Because part of my issue with getting into it was I visually was like, what am I supposed to be picturing when they say these people are gold and these people are red? Like, are they physically like red Martians? I'm confused. But I think I've got it now.
Yeah, I picture them just being like, they look like like Swedish, like tall, just like perfect humans, and then like I don't
Did you
know.
say Swedish?
Yeah, aren't they blonde?
I don't know why. I was just like, I was picturing red Martians, and you're picturing Swedish people. Sorry. I'm so tired.
I think you're getting stuck on the part that it's like Mars.
I am.
Basically, like whenever they were like, "I'm stuck underground just drilling," I was like, "This is really claustrophobic." Like, but now like as kind of just see this is Earth. They're all humans. I mean, I think they have a couple extra fingers and they have wings, which I'm confused. Does everyone get wings put on, or are they born with wings?
I was thinking the golds are born with them, but I suppose I don't know.
Yeah, I'm confused on the wing. We'll debrief for that. But I am enjoying it. I did order the second book. But yeah, I need to throw a romance in there before I start the second one separately. I don't know what it's gonna be because I'm trying to think of what comes out in March.
Well, it's funny that you want to throw a romance in because I've literally been like, all these fantasy books are so heavy. I need to throw a thriller in.
Our comfort reads.
Yeah. It's like, I just need a quick, easy thriller to get me back on track.
Which I guess I should point out to you though, because so last year Ali Hazelwood came out with a audiobook only. I forgot the name of it is. I did pre-order it. But she released it again this past month for in paperback. So if you are looking for a nice romance, I'd recommend reading it. It was very good. I just don't know if I'd reread it. But it's about like two video game designers
Okay.
and it's very good.
Okay.
It's very Ali Hazelwood-esque. I'm just curious why she originally only published it as a audiobook.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't picked up by who's her normal publisher? Is it Berkeley?
Yeah, Berkeley.
Maybe they didn't pick that one up and she was able to get an audiobook deal to get it out, and then maybe once it was popular they picked it up. I don't know.
I just typed in Ali Hazelwood book and there's a new one coming out August 11th.
Good. That'll be good.
Because I was worried there wasn't a release of one. I was like, where is my fix?
She came out with like 16 books last year. She has to drop at least one this year.
Well, that's why I'm like, usually she releases one by now. So it's called Two Can Play. It came out February 10th. So if you are in the need of a nice romance that's well written, I recommend that. I did buy a paperback because I have my Ali Hazelwood shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what is coming out this month that I want to read. So yeah, I was trying to think of books to read for our March book. Even though we failed at our February book, I'm hoping we do a little better for March. And I was trying to look up new releases, and I can't decide on what we should read for March.
Well, it doesn't come out till March 31st, but it looks like Abby Jimenez has a book coming out March 31st, The Night We Met.
Yes, I have planned for that to be our April book.
Ooh, perfect.
So you heard it here first. April is Abby Jimenez's book.
I have a book we could read that came out February 3rd, and I believe I actually told you about it. I believe it's a romance/thriller, although I'd have to check if it's actually just a thriller, but I think it's a romance/thriller. It's called How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by Shaylee Thompson. And she goes on like some speed dating event, and then a murder occurs at the speed dating thing, and they're all locked in, and she has to like use her wits to solve it. And she's there with like people that she's supposed to be falling in love with. So I'm pretty sure it's a romance/thriller from what I read, but I think it's obviously a play on the movie how to oh my gosh, what is it called? How to something in 10 dates.
How to hate?
How to
get a guy to fall in love with you?
Yeah, something like that. I just kept wanting to say How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. That's not the original.
See the way to Marissa's heart is through killing.
But that one could be a fun one just because it sounds like a fun little concept. But I don't know if it leans too much into the murder, it might not be light enough for you.
No, I'm down to do that. Well, so Elle Kennedy is having a book coming out, Love Song, but I didn't want to make that one our book of the month because it's like the fourth in a series, and it's like a series after a series. So it's like a pretty much like 10 books in the making for all the backstories. So I'm like, pass. I love Elle Kennedy, but pass for the book of the month. And then In Her Own League by Liz Tomford is also coming out in March. But this one's also like a like a 6, like it's a continuation of her last series.
Okay.
5 books backstory. So those kind of threw out ours. So yeah, I'm down because what I had was like Across the Vanishing Sky, and I just like the cover. I actually don't know what this is about, and it was a romance coming out in March, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty. But let's do yours because that one sounds like more like us together.
Okay, cool. How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates. I will say on that Vanishing Sky one, I was literally just entering random Goodreads giveaways and it was on there and I entered for it. So, if I win it, I'll read that one too.
It looked good. I mean, it's just a really a pretty cover. That yeah, I was thinking about what we were gonna read while working so much. I'm like, there's a weight off my shoulders today, and I feel lighter. So I'm hoping to read after we record. We also have to get this out, but yeah, no. So I'm glad February is over. My toughest month, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like 2 more weeks. I really have to get through 315, but I was planning to work more tonight just because I have a return that's due tomorrow and 2 more that are due Sunday that I have to get through. And I'm like, it's a Friday night. I just want to go read and go to bed.
I know. No, after I submitted everything, it was like 4 o'clock. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be done for the night. I just can't.
It's a lot. It is so much. It's only this time of the year and then, again in the fall and summers are so much lighter. So I try to keep that in mind. But this time of the year, it is just like, you can't do anything else. Like I barely got through 2 books this month, two and a half, whatever. I'm just, January, I read 8 books and I was filming videos and whatever else and picking up, I don't know, my area was clean and now I'm like drowning in dishes and I ruined towels because I forgot I even put them in the washer. I have zero memory of washing a load of towels, but now they're ruined because they sat in there for who knows how long because I don't even remember putting them in there.
I know, and it's been harder going into the office. Like, normally I enjoy going in, but it's just been, like, so taxing. Especially because last weekend I spent the entire weekend in the office, and then we only went home on Sunday because the blizzard was coming, and I literally was on a 3-hour call on Sunday, and I watched it go from no snow to, like, a couple inches
Wow.
in the duration of the call, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to get off this phone call right now."
Dude, it is
Yeah.
crazy that you had a blizzard because it's literally in the 90s here. It is so miserable.
I laughed because before this call, I told Marissa I was going to the gym to go for like a walk on the treadmill because you can't walk on the boardwalk here. There's snow all over it. It's like very slippery. The sidewalks are clear, but it's like kind of just dirty, and it's like you have to like I don't know. It's just not convenient. Like the boardwalk's so nice when it's nice out because you can like there's no stopping. It's great. So I just go on the treadmill and I watch Survivor, and I just walk. I walked like 3 miles. And Marissa's like I'm dying. It's so hot here. I'm like, I freaking wish.
Yeah, it's been in the 90s this week. We don't have our AC on yet. And so, like last night, normally I don't sleep with my window open just because I'm on the ground floor, like anyone could walk up and get in. But I was like, I'm willing to take the chance tonight because it's too hot. I'm willing to die if it means going to bed cool. So I slept with my window open. It was like, whatever. This is the start to every Dateline or what, you don't sleep with your window open or your door unlocked. And I was just like, I have a dog in my bed. It'll be fine. I'll survive.
It's quite cold. Actually, it's not cold anymore. We had a lot of weeks where it's like below freezing and the snow wouldn't melt and it was really cold. So we're in the like these now, but it's still a winter jacket kind of temperature. I'm just waiting for summer. I just like need it for my mental health. Like today I was like I need to leave this apartment and like I need the sun to be on my face.
Yeah. Which instead you went and got Chipotle.
I did get Chipotle and I walked to the gym. So neither.
Very good. Very good.
I did see some, on the walk to the gym, I got some sunlight, and I left my apartment, so we're good there. And this weekend, I hope to not work. I found out so we have like a brewery in the center of our town, and they are hosting like a little farmers market tomorrow morning.
Fun.
So I'm like, I should go. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do that. I'm going to become a human again. So next month I can work hard still.
Yeah.
I just hope it's like more balanced.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
no.
don't mind tough days if I can still like sign off at 10.
Yeah. been getting full 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night, and so I'm like, "Okay, I can do it. I can work the long days as long as I'm getting my sleep." But just this past week was really hard because I have a partner who she's having a baby. She's literally supposed to have the baby tomorrow. And I don't know if she will or not, but that's her due date. And so we were trying to get all this stuff done this week before she goes out. And honestly, I didn't get it all done. And I'm just like, whatever, it's going to be what it's going to be because there's only so many hours in the day. But that's what made this week particularly tough. I feel like the rest of my busy season has been balanced to a degree. Like, I'm getting my sleep. Sure, I'm not reading as much, but I'm still doing my nightly walks with my dog and I'm reading some. So I'm like, it's not the worst. It's just I'm ready for it to be over. And
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
yeah, just kind of it's dragged on.
Just think, we used to do this 7 days in the office. Way worse.
I literally don't understand how we functioned. I mean, literally there were nights I got 4 hours of sleep and I'd show back up at the office at 9 or 10 a.m. and be there till 2 or 3 a.m. And like that was just normal.
It's funny because I was there on Saturday and it was like 11:40 and I was just done. And I was like, okay, we can go home and like wake up early tomorrow. And my senior and associate were like, we're gonna stay. And I was like, I'm such a bad manager, but I'm just old. I can't do it anymore. I can't stay. And I also like I live an hour from the city now. Like it's like annoying to get home. So, but I guess my reading goals for this month for March is finish Red Rising.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to read our book of the month and actually finish it in time for the end of the month. And then I'm going to read Love Song and In Her Own League because those I just need something that's like a nice romance.
I have to, well, I don't have to read anything, but if I'm getting a book of the month, I have to read it because I'm trying not to buy books in general. And so that's why normally I skip book of the month, but to get my free lolly, whatever that means, I'm gonna get a book of the month. So I am gonna read it. I'm gonna get This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. It's their thriller this month. And then I think this is gonna be my fairy loot book that I choose, The Rose Bargain.
Ooh,
I think that was on your TBR as well, but this is The Rose Bargain, and I kind of think it's the one I'm gonna do this month because I've heard good things about it, and it looks very romantic-y, romantic-y.
I like that cover a lot. I just had to refresh my brain on what the actual cover looked like. But I do like that cover a lot. It's really pretty. And the spray edges are really nice.
Yeah. So it feels like it's gonna be light. So I'm like, all right, those are the only two I for sure am gonna do other than Red Rising and our book of the month. But I have other ones that like I'd like to do. Like I'd really just love I told you a thriller. Like I'd love to just do Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica because it's been on my TBR for forever. I found a copy at a thrift store and like I've wanted to read it for a long time and I'm like, I could just knock that out in a weekend if I could get a day or two to myself.
And once you get into a book, then you're like, okay, I put it down. I'm going to finish it. It's just like getting to that climax part where you're like, okay, I'm addicted. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, agreed. But you finished Throne of Glass,
I
and
did.
I think we're gonna play a little Throne of Glass game.
Yes. Which I think before we play the game, I was thinking about my rankings.
Wow, you're gonna rank them?
And it's really hard to think about rankings. So I was trying to think of what I really enjoyed the most. And I think Heir of Fire stays at number one.
So
Like I
good.
love Heir of Fire.
I remember where I was when I was reading certain parts of that book. I sat down on the floor in the bathroom and started crying when her and Rowan made their bond thing. Like I can remember where I was, what I was doing, and I sat down on the floor and I was just sobbing. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
their love story is just beautiful. I love the memes where there's like, not memes, but there's like fan art of her like drunk on a roof and him like watching her as a bird and like, he's like, that's the girl I have to go talk to.
Okay. I love all the things that are like, she's my soulmate, she's perfect, blah, blah, blah. And then they have the Rowan quote of like, the best thing you could do for your country is die. He's so mean to her, but like, that's her soulmate. And like, it's just so funny. Like, he literally punches her in the face when they're trading. And people are like, that's my man.
So that one's number one. And number two, I was torn between. My first option is... See, this is tough. I have a really tough time. I love Queen of Shadows. I love Tower of Dawn. And honestly, the first book still kind of has a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm going to do Heir of Fire, Throne of Glass, Tower of Dawn,
Wow.
Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storm? No, Kingdom of Ash, Empire Storm, and Crown of Midnight.
We all agree Crown of Midnight's the worst, right?
Yeah,
It's just...
and Assassin Blade, too.
Yeah. But like Crown of Midnight, I remember parts of it, and you need the information in it, but when I'm doing my rankings, that one is always last. And I don't know why. Like, I'm sure it's not a bad book. It's just, it doesn't have the romantic aspects, and I think it's kind of a bridge book to get you where you need to get to.
It's definitely more of a transition where you go from this, like, you're reading an assassin challenge, or like basically an assassin challenge, and then you're bridging to this like whole other like expanded issues. Like, you kind of know the issues, but then they like really become glaring here in this book. I actually did appreciate it more in my reread.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's definitely like in the last of it. And I didn't even reread Assassin's Blade, which people hate me for, but it's just like not my cup of tea. So
Yeah, that's fine. I enjoy Sam. Like, I enjoy people talking about Sam, but the book itself feels unnecessary. I don't know. I mean, I know parts of it come back up later in the series and it gives you background on things, but also he's not the love interest, and the stuff that happens isn't really relevant so much.
I do love the part where you're in, or yeah, I forgot.
Are we gonna call her Urine?
How do I pronounce it? I don't know. I do love like that backstory of how they met, and like I don't know, whenever they like met again, it was really magical.
Mm-hmm.
So I do love that part. I mean, it's a whole like the silent assassins come and fight her war. Her ginger friend, who is also an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Forget her name. So I get it. And like also, yeah, the guy who's like Lysandra's uncle. Like, yeah, I get it. I just also know it, so I don't need it again. Do you have a ranking, or too much on the spot?
Probably too much on the spot. Well, no, actually I could probably do it. I think for me, for some reason, and I don't even remember what happens in Queen of Shadows, but that one I just remember being like top tier. I loved Queen of Shadows. The Manon stuff might have really picked up in that one, and she's like my all-time favorite character. So Queen of Shadows. I agree with you though. Heir of Fire, like the fact that I could remember where I was, what I was doing, like it stuck with me. It was beautiful. I love that one. Then I'd probably say, honestly, Tower of Dawn. I like Tower of Dawn. I know it's crazy. I know people think that's crazy, but I liked it. It was really good. Kingdom of Ash, for sure. Throne of Glass. Empire Storms, just because it's hard to get through. The ending sucks. And then Crown of Midnight. That would be and then Assassin's Blade. I'm not an Assassin's Blade hater. If I had to reread the series, I wouldn't throw it in there because you know what happens in it, and like, I just wouldn't. Yeah.
We don't have time for that. We have so many other books we want to read.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go into our little rapid fire questions again. Okay, so Aelin or Selena?
Aelin, obviously.
Rowan or Dorian?
Well, that's actually hard. They're so different.
Dorian's like my bookish king.
I
but
know.
Also, I love Rowan.
I love them both, but I do love Dorian. I just think Dorian is like innately good, and he fights so hard to be good. And I love that about him.
Okay, so Dorian. Okay, Dorian or Kale?
Dorian. But I'm not a Kale hater. Like I said, I love Tower of Dawn, but Dorian's just supreme.
Lysandra or Manon?
I love them both, but look, Manon is my girl. But I love Lysandra, but Manon.
Okay. Lead, Allied. I'm gonna butcher these names. Allied or Urine?
You know what? We cannot call her Urine. There's no way her name is Urine.
I don't know what it is.
I think, if I remember right from the audiobook, I think it's Irene. I think. But I don't know why they spell it the way they do if it's Irene. Regardless, it's her. I choose her over a lead.
Her. Okay, Adian, yes or no?
No. Literally, no. I wanted to love Adian, and then he became such a bad person to Lysandra.
Okay. Most underrated character.
Fleetfoot. Little dog, obviously.
I'm so happy she wrote in little tidbits where she's like, he's fine. And it's like, a war is going on. And like, this golden retriever is just chilling.
I know. Sarah is definitely a dog person because she wanted us to know that this dog was okay throughout the whole thing.
It's like, I picked Fleetwood up. I brought him over there. Like, he took care of the dog when Aylin's across the continent. Okay, so favorite romantic pairing.
Honestly, Kale and the girl that Kale's with, who's definitely not called Urine.
Okay, low-key love Alide and Orchid. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
And I also really loved Fenry's this time around, and his story. Like, no, he's like the only person who does not have like a happy ending. Like, he doesn't find a love there, and I hope, like, now that I've finished the world, I hope he like goes on like a mission. Like, they're like happy in their court, and he like volunteers to go elsewhere to like make connections, and then he like has his own little book and little love story.
Can you
That would be really
remind me,
cute.
is he the one who was with Aylin throughout her torture? Okay.
Yes.
I almost gave him as my underrated character, but I couldn't remember his name and I didn't want to say the dog that was with Aylin during her torture, the wolf or whatever. But like when I read all that stuff and they would blink at each other, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry right now just thinking about it. It was so good. It was so good. It was so beautiful, and just like the fact that he was there for her, like he couldn't do anything and she couldn't do anything, but then he ended up fighting against it to help her. Oh, beautiful.
And whenever they did the bond thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I really struggle with that like breaks my heart is that Gabriel never got to do the oath.
A lot of people feel like Gavriel's ending was just really tragic.
So I'm never gonna say it's not needed because I think my issue with Sarah's I think the issue with Crescent City is that nobody died besides Danica. But
Yeah.
like Crescent City, the end of Crescent City, like the last book is like this crazy epic war, and not a single main character died. The same can be said about Alcatar, where at the end of that war, no one died, and it's like, okay, that's not realistic. I don't know. You need to have this like heart-wrenching death, and much as like Gabrielle's death, like literally, like I think back on it and I cry. Like I just cry because like he just wanted to love Adian so bad.
I know.
And he never got to make the blood oath, and it like just it wrecks me. But I think it's needed. I think it was needed.
I think it was needed. People say though, he died thinking Adian hated him, or maybe he died and Adian thought he hated Adian, or so, I don't know, but it's like he just wanted to love his son and be loved by his son and take care of his son, and then he died protecting his son and he didn't get to take the blood oath, and yeah, it was needed, but it is very tragic. Very sad.
Such a good book. So rough.
So rough.
Okay. Best platonic friendship.
Dorian and Aylin, 100%. I think their friendship is the best. And I think, like, when he was willing to die with her and then she betrayed him and wouldn't let him die with her, and it's like they platonically loved each other so much. It was so.
Whenever they all say goodbye at the end of like, the war, she's crowned. The three of them are like, have their little meeting. They're like, it reminded me of like when Harry, Ron, and Hermione like came back together and they were like the three again. Like that's what it reminded me of, and I like wanted to literally cry. Actually, I think I did cry. It was so good.
And it was so needed because like people hate on Kale all the time, but they don't understand, like, he is such a big part of the story and Aylin's journey, and like he lets her go be Aylin. Like, literally, I think she would have stayed with him, like, if he had fought harder, and he didn't, and she went off and became Aylin. And so, like, his story's necessary, his friendship with Dorian's necessary, and bringing them all back together in the end was just very healing, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Okay. What is the most chaotic duo?
Gosh, it could be Lorcan and anyone or Manon and anyone.
See, I thought it was Lysandra and Aelin. They always were like
Oh.
they were always strategizing and then like letting the boys know after the fact. It was just funny.
No, I love Lysandra. She's one of my favorite characters. That's why you putting her up against Manon's really hard because I love her so much. And literally, I hate Adian so much because of Lysandra. Even though she likes him, like she still loves him, right? Doesn't she still want to be with him or something? I'm like, girl, what?
Yeah, I think they are like having their wedding at the end of the war.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, she could do so much better. And so it makes me so mad on her behalf. But anyway, yes, her and Aelin, they're a really good duo, very chaotic. I do enjoy the fact that they would just make plans and they're both so badass and like she can shapeshift and all that stuff. So the boys were always like, what is going on? Very good. Forgot about that.
Okay. There's a lot more, but I do think we are going way over time. So we'll leave it at that for now. And that's all we have for this episode. So stay tuned. And what book are we reading next month, Marissa?
That's a great question. Well, we're finishing Red Rising, and then we're gonna do one moment, please. And then we're gonna do How to Kill a Guy in 10 Dates by Shaylee Thompson.
So stay tuned for our Red Rising episode coming out soon, and stay tuned for that episode once we finish that book in March. But thanks for listening. This is Kayla.
And Marissa.
Have a good night.